Hey, we are live everywhere now. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with CJ. It is me, your girl, Christian Jackson, the daddy issues expert. I am excited to have you guys here with me on this lovely Wednesday evening, August 11th, 2021, where I get to come here week in and week out, 7:15. You can find me here on Wednesday for about 30 minutes, where my goal has always been as a professional to make things accessible for you, right? There are some people who have various reasons as to why they're not going to therapy. Maybe it costs too much. Maybe you're not ready to kind of dive into some things. So Wellness Wednesdays is a great way for you to come and join the discussion, have your seat at the table and learn some things while I, the licensed professional, am just giving things away, right? And so I do believe that it's really important for us to be able to access certain things as far as mental health and wellness tips. So this is one of the freebies I like to give away, right? Another thing, if you were to go to my website, it's flashing on the bottom of the screen. If you're watching right here on YouTube and my Facebook channel, then you will see that you can go to my website. When you're about to leave after kind of perusing, maybe you're purchasing my books, maybe you're on my blog, which is another freebie. You can also join my email list, right? And so just a few weeks ago, I was able to send out a new form where I gave you guys affirmations, right? Hopefully by now you have seen that illustration. I just made a quick Canva graphic where you have I am and a whole bunch of other affirmations. So hopefully you guys have been using that. That is a benefit of being part of the Couch Crew, right? I just let Instagram know that you guys have been deemed this lovely nickname by my homegirl, Jessica Van of Envision Counseling. The Couch Crew, now you have a name. And what I like to give you guys are free things. Not only are you getting tips here on Wellness Wednesdays for the free, you're also getting access to my blog and updates when they're actually published right here on my email list. So you can go to my website and sign up for that. Before you leave the website, you will have an opportunity to do so. And so I'm excited because I have been gaining new followers pretty steadily here over the last few weeks. And I want to always have a chance to introduce myself. Why does your girl call herself the daddy issues expert? For the rest of the Couch Crew who knows what I like to do and why I'm so passionate about the daddy issues movement, you can join the chat, let them know what you love about it, what you are learning about it. But I call myself the daddy issues expert because I wrote the books on it, right? So these are my books. Last year, I wrote Daddy Issues. It is a culmination, a manual, if you will, because there are some people out here who have this nasty stigma about what women with daddy issues looks like. Who are we, right? I am in a position where I have transcended daddy issues. So if you work through the fact that you don't really know who you are, you want to be close to someone, but then you know what I'm saying, the connection is scary. You have issues kind of questioning yourself as a mom. You want to release the guilt when it comes to having certain relationships and thoughts and all that kind of stuff. What is it that you have going on as far as what's getting in the way of you making the connection, right? So this book really is a chance for you not only to explore how daddy issues contributes to that. I happen to be taking that angle because this was cathartic for me, right? So I wrote that book sharing my story and other women's stories about what they experienced as mothers, wives, employees, how you show up in certain relationships. In between each chapter, you can expound upon it in the workbook as well. But in between each chapter, you get a chance to work out some things with self-reflection questions. And so you can expand upon why that last chapter about daddy issues in my marriage was so triggering. Why do I have to, why am I acting this way? Why am I popping off with people like this? The daddy issues movement is here, very simply put, to release the sting and the stigma of women with daddy issues. I'm here to help you fill the gaps, answer the questions you have about why you can't transition past one issue to another so that you can transcend and be healed. It's a journey that's ongoing, right, sis? So you're working on that self-care situation where you are not taking that 30 minutes to care for yourself, right? So the daddy issues movement is just a way in. I'm talking about that. But if you want to expound upon the fact that you are really having some issues with making connections with other people because you have trust issues and lots of trauma that taught you that you got to put the walls up to protect yourself, this is really the book. This is really the place you need to be, right? So it's daddy issues, yes. But when you get deep into the movement with me and you rock with me for a little bit and you join the Couch Crew, which means you follow my pages, you like my page, you go back and get to know me and my content back in the IGTV game right here on Facebook and YouTube, then you'll get to see that there is lots of different angles and things that I like to take, because we are talking about you connecting with self and really engaging and taking your mental health seriously, right? So I'm riding for us so that we can all be healed together. And I've been having some recent conversations here today, y'all. Let me dive into what the subject is for today. We are going to be talking about forgiveness now. Story time, okay? I had and she was saying that her daddy reached out to her and called and said things like, you don't call me no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't be checking up on me. You're my baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we at? Why is our relationship the way that it is, right? Just not giving what it's supposed to give, right? And so I found it interesting because for me, it was triggering because, as the Couch Crew, y'all been here for a minute, y'all know my father and I are not currently speaking. That is something I am praying will change and we can reconcile and all the things. But it was triggering for me to have that conversation because I have not yet come to the point where I reconcile with my father. And so I'm like, well, dang, man, now I feel bad. Like, should I call him? Should I kind of loosen this boundary that I've put in place to protect myself? Like, should I compromise? Right. And so I haven't fully even addressed forgiveness because I felt like I wasn't in a place to be able to give anyone advice because I haven't really talked about the reconciliation part. So I want to preface this conversation by saying what you need to know about my books and the movement is that the state of our relationship right now, August 2021, my father and I are not talking, right? This could change tomorrow. We never know. The book does not end with, oh, Christian and her father are amazing and things are wonderful. And that's because that's what happens in real life, right? Like, I can't help what's going to happen because I am no longer responsible for his feelings, right? Which we're going to get into later. But what I really want everybody to understand is that forgiveness is tricky for me because I realize, and I want to stand with you guys in the fact that sometimes people mistake forgiveness for letting things slide, right? Forgiveness, I want to say first right off the bat, does not mean we do not hold people accountable for their actions, right? I have heard some really painful stories about men who have unfortunately physically, sexually, spiritually, financially abused their daughters. Right? There are some hurtful stories out here. So again, I'm in my head like, how can I possibly talk about forgiveness? What does this even mean? So I simplified it for myself. And if you're watching right here on the Facebook and the YouTubes, and you can see right here on the screen, I just copied and pasted from the Googles what forgiveness is. The definition, it's a verb, right? Or forgiveness is the noun. The forgive is what I want to focus on today and talk about how we can forgive and what it is. Forgive is a verb. It means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. For y'all that out there, my mama just joined, hey mama, on Instagram. The definition one more time is to stop feeling angry, resentful, towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. Now, I think it's important for us to have a working definition because we oftentimes let that definition get watered down. Forgiveness, when you play telephone and the message gets passed down, right? And there's a lot of different factors that go into play here. I think what we hear when we try to process what forgiveness is and what it means to do the forgiving, it means for some reason our culture has turned it into, that means you're saying it's okay that this person did A, B, and C to me. So it's really important for us to keep this in mind. What I'm noticing, and you can put it here in the chat if you find it on the replay or if you're live with me here today, forgiveness has everything to do with you. Do you see that? So it doesn't mean that I am okay with this person doing this thing, right? It means that I have stopped holding this grudge. It doesn't say that you're okay with this person doing this thing, right? So back to my story. For a while, of course, my story is in the book, Daddy Issues. Go pick it up if you want to know what I really went through. My daddy issues manifested with identity issues. And so I had a struggle with my father neither confirming nor denying my his paternity to me, right? So it just kind of meant, oh God, I don't know who I am. I'm carrying these kids and I don't know my history. Like, what if there's something that they really need to know while we're doing this thing? And so I was struggling with that, right? I didn't know who I was. I didn't think I was really worth knowing anything, but that anyone would want to know me. And so that was my struggle. So for a long time when I was younger, because this whole issue has been going on since I was 21. I'm 35 now. When it first went down, I just knew at that time in my life what that meant was, or what I knew that I will only be okay if daddy did so and so. If he said this thing, if he did this thing, if he apologized for this thing, then I could let it go and I could forgive him, right? So my definition of forgiveness at the time was that I'm okay with what daddy did as long as he acknowledges it and he says it's okay. A huge piece of my therapy journey when I was working through my daddy issues with Kim, shout out to Kim, was that I was basing all of my worth, my health, mental, spiritual, emotional health, a lot of my stock was in whether or not my daddy would do this thing. So I don't know how many times you guys have experienced this in your personal lives, that your wellness was contingent upon what somebody else was doing. And that's why it is super important for us to have this conversation about forgiveness. And I share that in the book because I think it's important for us to know. I, of course, would be, what we're going to talk about later, drinking the poison, and I was just dying for years, right? I was not okay. Okay. And so when we're thinking about this verb, in order to forgive, it means I'm not angry or resentful toward this person for doing this thing. Then there are a couple of practical steps that I would like to give to you guys to start that process of you transcending daddy issues overall, right? But just in general, who is it that you may be really hurt by? It could be your brother, your mama, your sister, an employee that you're working with, a boss that you're working for, whatever that looks like. What is it that you are holding a grudge for? So let's talk about what these practical steps are to forgiveness. Keeping in mind, forgiveness means we stop feeling angry or resentful, right? Doesn't mean it goes away. But just like any symptom you have, right? We're talking about mental health. If that anxiety decreases, that means you're making progress. You're going to keep living. Anxiety will still present itself. And last week, remember, we talked about anxiety is a gift. Go back and check that video out. But we are going to talk about what that step looks like. So what do I want to do first? Knowing how to forgive. How to forgive, step number one. And again, if you're watching on Instagram, you're missing the little graphics that are going on the bottom of Facebook and YouTube. But how to forgive means you got to know who you're dealing with, sis. Okay. So for me, part of my breakthrough in therapy with my daddy issues was learning that a lot of my progress was going to come once I understood that my daddy is a child of trauma, like many of us are, right? To whatever degree, on whatever part of the spectrum. The faster I understood and I learned that he was unable to give things that he didn't see, touch, smell, hear. He didn't get that. He didn't get that lesson. So I really had to download that message and understand that I can't expect someone to really give me the attention or the love that I needed if he didn't know how to do it. How do you teach someone to ride a bike if you're not really sure, right? I think we understand theoretically many things. But the point is, you got to put it into practice in order for things to stick. So how to forgive, step number one, means you got to know who you were dealing with. Is this person in a place to even have a rational conversation with you about forgiveness or about what they may acknowledge that they've done? Maybe what they think they've done is right this whole time. Maybe they think it's okay what they have been actually doing to you. Maybe they don't even acknowledge where it hurts. And that comes from you actually being able to identify your own feelings, right? So in individual therapy with my clients, everybody gets the feelings wheel, which is something that I paid this man for and put it in my book. He's out of England, but I put the feelings wheel in the book. So you guys can identify that I'm not just feeling angry, right? I'm feeling hurt, embarrassed, invalidated. I'm resentful. Like, what are those things? Because sometimes it's a matter of us just being able to accurately identify so that we can articulate to the people who wronged us what that feels like. They may not even know. So who are you dealing with? Are they knowledgeable enough? Are they rational enough? Is their trauma clouding it, right? So again, if you're just joining, which I see you guys kind of trickling in here, I want you to know that forgiveness, at least by my definition, does not mean we're saying it's okay for someone to have wronged us. Again, the act of forgiveness, the verb means we are stopping our anger and resentment because we're sitting back and we're realizing this person may not even know what's going on. Doesn't mean it's right, but why am I holding this poison? Because they don't know what's up, right? So that's the acceptance piece. And let me go back to that. Acceptance is something that I learned. Really, it was like a light bulb went off when I was doing this meditation by Sheila Marie. Shout out to her. She's amazing. She has a meditation mixtape. And one of the first things she says about acceptance is that it means that I'm not going to put a judgment on this thing. I'm not going to say that I'm accepting your behavior. That doesn't mean that I think it's right. Doesn't mean I think it's wrong. It just is what it is, right? I have a broken arm. I may not like it. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I like pain. But either way, I know my arm is broke. So I got to do something with it. Either I'm going to sit with it or I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to have them set it, whatever it is. If you know what it is and you accept, which really just means acknowledge it, then you kind of know what to do to move forward. If I accept that my father is not going to give me this love because he doesn't know what it looks like, he's not going to give me this attention because he thinks it's good enough, he thinks he's done his part. If I accept that much, then it's like, it is what it is, bro. Like, he can't even do that. So like I said, that was a huge part of my process. Now, the second step to how to forgive, some practical things, right? And of course, you guys put it in the chat, comment if you need to. I'll go back and watch and engage if you watch the replay. Step number 2 for how to forgive, meaning you stop feeling angry or resentful, is you weigh the cost. For me, okay, that meant, and I see you guys trickling in, we're talking about forgiveness and how to do so. Step 2 means if I want to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone who has offended me, that means that I'm going to weigh the cost. That means I want to think about, because I'm so angry at this person, I'm still holding on. And yes, Chrislyn in Instagram is saying that acceptance equals new level of understanding. And it's like a light bulb that goes off. So for me, I wasn't accepting the fact that my daddy, didn't know he was wrong. I was really upset about that. So how did I do it? You fill in the blank. Pick your poison. For me, it was lots of booze and lots of sex. That's what I was doing, because who was I? I'm the cute girl. It's not really hard for me to get the attention that I was looking for. And I go into that more into the book as far as why there is, for me, daddy issues, according to Christian, in my experience, was the promiscuous type, right? I was promiscuous because I knew that that's what got me the attention that I needed and wanted. And so I wasn't accepting the fact that I wasn't invisible, right? So that's what I did to fill a void and to cover up the pain. So for me, it was costing me my freaking mental health, for sure, emotional health, and my physical health, because obviously drinking a whole bunch of booze is not going to be healthy for you overall. It's not good for you. And so what is it that it's costing you? Is it costing you your job? Like, are you not forgiving someone for saying something in the meeting that was super rude because you just holding a grudge? And is that impacting your work? Daddy issues, right? So I'm thinking about, from that level, what did your father, your mother, your auntie, your village, what did they teach you about this narrative of forgiveness? And how do you carry that out? What is the cost? Is it worth it for you not to have a relationship with A, B, and C, or this person, because you want to hold on to something? So if you do something called, what we do in therapy, at least me with my clients, it's a cost benefits analysis, where you say, basically, what are the pros and cons? If I decide I'm going to forgive this person, what does that mean? For me, forgiveness, again, a working definition for the night. I stopped feeling angry. Once I stopped doing that, I let go of the resentfulness. I accepted what this really meant. Once I decided to do that, the pro was, one I'll just name right now, is that there's like a physical weight lifted off of me. I felt freer. I felt way more content, because the picture was clear for me. And I'm a whole professional. I've been in the game for a minute, right? I'm a whole licensed therapist. And it was really hard for me to make that reconciliation within myself, that trauma is really that powerful and can be very tricky. Of course, if you only allow it, that is another talk. But for me, the pro of forgiving was that I was lighter emotionally, and I could move on with a lot more things, right? I could nurture other relationships. The cost was, like I said earlier, my physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental health. It's not a fun thing, right? So weigh the cost. That is a practical step towards you working on you being the forgiving person, because then you're thinking about yourself. Again, that definition, I'll keep coming back to it, means that you stop feeling angry or resentful. It's all about you taking care of yourself. The third and final point I'm going to give you today, because I want you guys to engage and share what you guys think. What are the tips you have as far as how to forgive? How to forgive is to stop drinking the poison. Redirect your focus, right? So have you guys heard that? You can put it in the chat that holding a grudge means drinking the poison, waiting for the other person to die. That is, I guess, an old adage. I don't know if it's like an African proverb. I don't know. But it's something that I think really kind of resonated with me when I was conceptualizing what holding a grudge really means. Going back to my last point, the con, when I weighed the cost of not forgiving, was that I was holding on to a lot of things. My anxiety was up. My depression was definitely, my symptoms were definitely up. I was engaging in snapping at people, engaging in an unloving way, hence the snapping at people. And that was what was going on with me in the way that my unforgiveness manifested, right? And so if I am drinking the poison, eventually that's going to take a toll, right? I was literally drinking the poison. I was drinking a lot. And so I needed to redirect my focus. So instead of me thinking, because my narrative told me, Christian, you're not good enough, you're a nobody, your daddy doesn't even want to be there for you, so why would anybody else? He told you your husband was going to leave you. I needed to redirect my focus on what was really happening in reality. So there's a couple of things here, right? What's actually happening and what is it that you're making up? So I needed to focus on being the mom that I wanted to be, being the friend and the wife that I wanted to be. But that had to start with being the Christian, not the Christian as in like the follower of Jesus, although I am a Christian who loves Jesus. What I mean is the person who was Christian, the woman, right? And so I had to get back and define who that was. Think about who I wanted to be, which means I need to revisit my values, return to some things that I want that are part of my fundamental scruples, right? My morals, my values. I had to revisit some things, get rid of others, really assess other relationships, of course, outside of my father. Like, who am I kicking it with? That's really kind of influencing me in a certain way, because influence does go past adolescence, right? Like, we're a very peer-driven culture. So redirecting my focus on who I am, figuring that out, nurturing her, loving her, walking with her, talking with her, going to therapy was part of my process, really kind of opening up and being vulnerable with my friends, safe people, the right people. That is how I redirected my focus and was able to forgive. I was able to stop holding a grudge against my father, transcending daddy issues, because this huge piece where I felt like I would only be happy if, I could only forgive if he would do A, B, and C. When you say it out loud now, and I hope this is landing for someone, when I say it out loud now, I am thankful that I've realized that I finally was able to stop putting all that responsibility that really he's not ready for on him. It is up to me to be okay with me, right? It's up to me to stop being angry or resentful, because all it's doing is affecting your girl, right? So when you are thinking about forgiveness, consider the cost. How is this affecting you? We are not saying that it is okay for this person to hurt us, and it's not okay for us to hurt other people. Forgiveness goes both ways, right? So if you're thinking about that whole act of releasing and letting go, I promise you that you're going to be in a way better place. Okay, this transformation that you're going to get in something like the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, when we do talk about these things, it's a group 8 weeks based on my books. We work through this here workbook, right? You can get it at my website. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen here on my Facebook and YouTube stream. You can go to the link in my bio right here on Instagram if you'd like to set up a consultation and join. I know that there has been a lot of conversation about awareness pieces. When you are making a transition into a new woman in this Daddy Issues Healing Circle, that may include the fact that there's a light bulb going off and you're understanding I can forgive. This doesn't mean that I think that this person did me wrong, right? And Chrislyn here on Instagram is saying that living with unforgiveness can also mean living without peace. Sis, that's a whole word. Oh, I can't wait to get you on this next Wellness Wednesday, and I'm about to drop that real quick. I need y'all to know that the Healing Circle applications are always open pretty much, right? We are going to keep this application process open until we get a good amount of committed women, and we are very, very close, you guys. And so I'm excited to offer that to you so that you can walk through and talk to this process of what forgiveness looks like. Let's continue this conversation. Let's shift the mindset that you may have about forgiveness. Let's open up some of these things that you may have been avoiding for so long, because what you're going to find is before I went and joined this healing circle, I was walled up. I wasn't really sure that I wanted to be a part of this group or share or talk about this thing ever again. But you will find that you are braver and you are leading with your whole heart and have way more courage to not even just address your daddy issues, but to even walk into this room and command and value yourself in a different way that you may not have before. You're able to have these conversations and look at yourself in the mirror and really attend to self after you have done this healing circle, because your girl gonna teach you how to do it. And 100% the women in the group have been able to say that their awareness of the things that have been holding on to, just learning about what that was, has been probably the most powerful piece of being in the healing circle. So I'm going to shut up about it. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me about the healing circle, go ahead to my website, fill out the form on the bottom of the screen. When you get there, join my email list. Let me know that you want to have a one-on-one conversation, because I just had a consultation yesterday and I'm so excited. So I'm going to go ahead and announce here that next week, I will not be doing a live Wellness Wednesday. I want to send out some positive vibes for all of us parents in the South Carolina area who are going back to school next week. Okay. I will post something encouraging for y'all, but I will be focusing on my family that day, as it is the first day of school. But what I am going to do is have a special treat when I come back for Wellness Wednesdays live in 2 weeks with 2 therapists who are ready and willing to tell you about their experience in the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, so that you can see what this transformation looks like, and you don't have to hear from just me. If you want to go back into the archives and learn what that looks like, or what it is kind of being a part of the group, go back to my IGTV. I'm wearing a really cute little polka dot number, black with white polka dots. And that's the video that will show you the interview with one of the members of the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. Nia was kind enough to show you guys right after we wrapped up that first round of our group, what that was like for her. And so I want you guys to go and really get to know me and figure out whether or not you are wanting to be part of the group, part of the movement. So the Couch Crew, I have been Christian Jackson. If you're just getting to know me and follow me on my pages, please go back, peruse, comment. I'll come back and engage. Send me a DM. Whatever questions you may have, I will answer as best I can. Shout out to the wrap, because y'all might have seen me today. I had my hair blown out since yesterday, but what I'm not going to do is bust this blowout in this humidity. So I hope that this was a nice little treat. You know, I like to wear little head decorations and things like that. And I hope y'all are staying cool and safe out there. I will see you in 2 weeks. Good night. Please, before I go, I'm inviting you to share this here Wellness Wednesday and whatever you feel like spoke into your life from my content. Y'all have a great night. All right, everyone, that's it. Good night.